Okay, our next award, I'd like to invite Daniel Matlick to come up and give us let us know who the Firefighter of the Year will be.
As President and CEO of United Fire, I'm fortunate to journey near and far to participate in a dynamic variety of fire service activities. This State Fire School is without a doubt one of my very annual favorites. Unlike most public safety conferences that typically target specific regions, political groups, or vocation, this institution transcends all demographics and brings together firefighters from every county, city, and town in Arizona. It's the one time during the year when we all come together to learn, bond, and prepare on how to best protect our communities. It really exposes diverse perspectives to a broad category of concerns. During my travels, I often learn about a variety of potential solutions and get my spirit lifted by the many giants among us. In March, I was pleased to attend the Congressional Fire Service Institute dinner in Washington, D.C. There were many giants from our field present. At the time, I wasn't aware that a new Excellence in Fire Service-based EMS award was going to be presented. You can imagine my personal thrill when Arizona's own Northwest Fire District was announced as the nation's inaugural recipient. While the Congress on Your Corner event turned tragedy received worldwide attention, in particular, it also served to illustrate how well departments in the Southwest train and prepare together for the unexpected. I was pleased when Battalion Chief and firefighter paramedic representing Northwest Fire chose to comment in particular that the success they experienced that fateful day had been made possible by the decades of preparation and planning initiated by one of our own longtime fire school training committee members, their chief, Jeff Pachura. I have known Jeff for a very long time, and he has always been progressive and forward-thinking and has served his district and the Arizona Fire Service exceptionally well. It was over 2 decades ago, but I remember like it was yesterday when he finally convinced his board the time had come to purchase brush gear and better train their firefighters to be prepared for a growing brush fire problem in Arizona. Large-scale wildfires in Arizona, Jeff? What on earth were you thinking? I must admit, I wasn't always aware how our firefighter preparation compared to some other states until I recently attended a local fundraiser for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation here in Arizona. The keynote speaker was Battalion Chief Joe Menke from the New York Fire Department. For the very first time in a public setting, Menke shared his own personal perspective of the horrific events that occurred on September 11th, 2001, and the long days and weeks that followed. I was truly riveted to every word that came out of this veteran firefighter's mouth. I never expected what he decided to share. Over 200 years of history did not prepare the New York Fire Department for what happened. The great FDNY was not invincible. They were physically and mentally exhausted after the collapse of the Twin Towers. But even after incomprehensible losses, steeped in tradition, their pride and courage inspired them to continue on, and they would not be alone. Eventually, the skies over America had been cleared of all traffic, and one airplane, like a giant above us, entered the New York City airspace with members of the Southwest Strike Team. Joe said initially the New York incident commander at the time, Chief Carruthers, was not very receptive to help from what he called a bunch of smoke jumpers, and suggested that our team go protect the trees in Central Park. After all, they were FDNY. What help could firefighters from Arizona possibly provide? The Southwest team commander recognized the sensitive nature of their assignment and respectfully and patiently watched and waited for an invitation to help. Fatigued and frustrated, the New York chief finally invited the Southwest commander to speak at their morning briefing. But alas, only a handful of New York's battalion chiefs bothered to show up. When asked what he had observed, the strike team commander pointed out some specific concerns. First, necessary rescue tools that normally are coveted were being abandoned everywhere just because they had run out of gas or had worn out blades. There was no radio communications between all the responding fire departments, and they couldn't keep track of all the people coming and going. And finally, sanitation was inadequate, which was going to lead to a whole other set of issues. The FDNY chief snapped back and questioned what they could do to help. The team simply replied, "Pick one of these issues and let us show you." FDNY decided to assign the Southwest team the task of addressing their complex communication problems. Our response team was prepared to handle the gigantic challenge. In just 2 days, they set up repeaters on nearby rooftops and programmed the common frequency on the 150 radios they had thoughtfully brought with them, allowing hundreds of emergency responders to all communicate with each other. Then, at the following morning briefing, everyone decided to show up to hear what else the Southwest team had to offer. The next formidable assignment, at which they were also successful, was to create a gigantic incident command and accountability system. FDNY finally recognized that those Arizona firefighters that they had dismissed as too insignificant to help with this enormous tragedy had brought a new perspective to the fight and became giants among them. The real key to firefighter safety is learning from previous experiences and then passing that knowledge on to help prepare for the unforeseen. Focus is the ability to shift perception. Our brains naturally like to conserve energy, and when bombarded with information, don't pay any more attention to what is going on around us than is necessary. This is called cognitive miser, the concept that only a small amount of information is actually perceived by individuals when making a decision. Firefighters, however, know that if your reference changes from a small ant-sized view, so does your perception. Unlike most people that tend to focus on just what is in front of them, firefighters have the desire, ability, and training to prepare for emergencies that help them notice and evaluate everything going on around them. This permits firefighters to safely react instead of just instinctively respond to dangerous situations. I believe Joe Menke decided to share his story as an expression of his deep admiration for the well-trained and prepared firefighters from Arizona. Joe also eloquently illustrated the need for continual improvement, regardless of any fire department's or your own perceived state of readiness. Chief Menke subsequently received in-depth training from the Southwest team, and today, the New York Fire Department has their own urban search and rescue strike team that is properly prepared to help other communities that are in desperate need. Each year, United Fire gathers stories about skilled and prepared firefighters and their accomplishments that demonstrate the qualities and compassion of the Arizona Fire Service. To select one individual to represent the many giants among us, we again turn to a group of our peers from around the state to be our judges. They were Danny Johnson, Dennis Stern, Paul Sable, Les Cade, and Mark Burtz. These individuals had the difficult challenge to choose a winner from all the nominations, not knowing if the firefighters were from the North or South, professional or volunteer, man or woman. And once again, our judges made an outstanding selection. I'm proud to announce the United Fire Firefighter of the Year for 2011 is Tyler Menke from the Tucson Fire Department. Firefighter Menke was on Engine 5 in Tucson on July 28, 2010. There had just been a tragic accident. When the engine arrived on the scene, a LifeNet helicopter was engulfed in flames. Firefighter Menke could hear screams coming from the crash. Using his training, he was able to rapidly assess all aspects of the situation to gather the details to get the full picture. Then, without hesitation and without the protection of a hose line, he disappeared into the smoke and ran into the inferno to try and save the screaming victims. Within minutes, he returned dragging Nurse Parker Summons, still alive, to an area where he could be safely treated by medics. Firefighter Menke then bravely returned to the sound of more screams and intense flames. This time he had the protection of a hose line provided by his partner and helped extricate two more people, pilot Alexander Kelly and paramedic Brenda French. When interviewed later, Menke's captain offered, "It was the most heroic thing he had ever seen." Brenda French traumatically died at the scene, but the other two patients, thanks to Firefighter Menke's courageous efforts, were able to be transported to the hospital and were kept alive long enough so that their families could say goodbye, which was tremendous for them. Firefighter Menke demonstrated how giants in the fire service are able to focus on what needs to be done and, despite danger to themselves, are able to selflessly protect and save others. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me thank this giant among us as the 2011 Firefighter of the Year, Tyler A. Menke. Tyler, similar to the past 18 years, there are many businesses that choose to come together to help United Fire demonstrate our community's appreciation for the fire service and your courage by amassing a giant list of prizes. Throughout many children's stories, giants are known to be a bit grumpy and not very friendly. I think that might just be because they don't have the proper equipment and accessories to fit their needs. Whether you are a very large ogre or a giant celebrity, this year's sponsors have got that covered for you with a variety of equipment and clothing that should make a huge impression wherever you are. Starting at the bottom, we all know how important it is to keep your feet happy. We've got boots from Hikes North America and Fire Decks. This will protect and cover up your toes, and they come in a range of sizes. If you are feeling like your wardrobe is looking a little worn, Lion Apparel has donated a set of custom turnouts to make you look like a celebrity. We know you will look good. And all giants need to be able to find their way in a hurry, so RIT Rescue is providing your own retractable tagline. Our first responder giants always lend a hand to help others, and guarding your fingers will be a variety of accessories from Ringer's Gloves. And because giants are known for their intellect and thoughtful assessment of the situation, we want to protect your head with helmets from Carnes and Paul Conway. Finally, some may think sports giants as are a particular team, but we in Arizona know who our real sports giants are. You'll be receiving an autographed basketball from the Phoenix Suns, all-star photos from Diamondback players Upton and Gonzalez, and a Calais Campbell football from the Arizona Cardinals. And instead of always racing about, why not just kick back for a while at the Point Hilton Squaw Peak Resort, then zip over to the Phoenix International Raceway and watch other drivers speed around. You can then hop into a vehicle dramatically slower and enjoy some passes to the JW Star Pass Golf Club. Of course, if you prefer not to drive and just enjoy the scenery, you can ride the train with the Grand Canyon Railway. With all these things to do, we'll give you 3 reasons to just hang out at home. Pizza Hut's 2 pies a month for 1 full year, take out food from the Texas Roadhouse, and a Bookman's entertainment card. Even ogres need a little downtime. You can share some of the excitement with your fellow firefighters at Tucson Fire with a $500 gift certificate from United Fire. And if you just need a little extra spending cash to hang out with your pals in style, there's always this check for $1,000.
Well, this is slightly overwhelming. First off, thank you to the Matlick family and all the sponsors for all the gifts. But I also need to give all the credit and thanks to my support system. My family's here with me today. My mother, my father, my brother, my sisters, and my girlfriend, Chelsea. I also need to thank the rest of my family at Station 5 and the Tucson Fire Department. It's safe to say that without my family, I probably never would have made it out of the academy. And without my family at the Tucson Fire Department, I wouldn't be the firefighter I am today. I really, truly am honored to receive this award and extremely grateful to be able to work every day as a firefighter. I'm incredibly proud to work alongside some of the hardest working men and women in the world. And in my opinion, if you were to take the name of every firefighter in the state of Arizona and just randomly pick one, they would deserve this award just as much as myself or any of our coworkers. So that being said, I can accept this award on behalf of all the firefighters in Arizona that do great work and great things every day. And I'm proud to continue my career alongside you guys as my peers, and I thank you.
This state fire school is magnificent because it helps to properly shift your perception, lift your spirits, and sharpen your focus. It trains the novice and reminds the veteran just how critical firefighters are to public safety and the public confidence that there will always be giants among us that are prepared and willing to respond to disasters. Along your personal journeys, please be safe.